think of your English vocabulary. I'm sure there are some words that are associated with places. That's one way to teach vocabulary, is teaching, vocabulary districts, kind of, right? You have the classroom words from the classroom. You learn all those words together. You have if you live in an English-speaking country, you have to, know some, like, what kind of words am I going to use when I go to the bank? What's the vocabulary of the bank? So you learn all those together, the vocabulary that goes with that place. And that's how a lot of people do. They organize the vocabulary according to place, according to
Your needs.
Yeah. So the situation or the context, and they go together, and you learn to make those connections that way. Okay, next. If context refers to the situation in which a language item is found, then it could include the motives of the speaker or writer and the audience, the place and time where the item is found, and the shared knowledge of the participants in the language item. Could that all be part of the context? What do you think? True or false? It's not a trick question. The motives, everybody understand what I mean by the motives? Like why you're making this communication? Or the shared knowledge. I mean, that's the story of Tanya, for example. The students would have shared knowledge. And since all of your students, how about this? All of your students are in the same career program, so they're all taking the same content classes, right? Wow, they have the same shared knowledge all the time. You can exploit that, but you gotta participate in their shared knowledge. That's going to be something to think about in the future. Is connecting with those people who teach those classes so that you know what their context. If you know what those people are teaching in those classes, at least partly, that can really help you create meaningful contexts for the students that you have in the class to be doing you're accomplishing the same goals but within their context. Well, this one I think is true. The shared knowledge, so that's all part of the context. Okay, multiple choice. How about this? Based on what we have discussed so far, which of the following materials would you use as the focus for a lesson on reporting past events? So your students are going to, that's the objective is the students should be able to report a past event. Okay, like what happened, This is for the criminal investigation security students, right? So which one of those, A, B, C, or D, would be the focus, and why? A chart of maybe some people can say a chart of irregular verbs.
C.
Yeah. Okay. A video or picture sequence depicting a crime. Could be. Okay. So that would be someplace. Here's something that happened, and people are talking, or maybe people aren't talking. Maybe there's just a silent. You could show Charlie Chaplin or something, silent movie. Could you use in your bigger lesson? Could you use a chart of the irregular verbs? Yeah. I mean that's a good reference. And if you have a limited chart, sometimes we give students these big charts, every single verb, and maybe if it's more limited to what they really need, that's more helpful, How about B? Could you use that? Could that be part of your overall lesson? Pronunciation guide for regular past tense verbs? Yeah, only if they're going to speak. Should they be doing a speaking activity in this? About reporting? Do we ever report by speaking? So how are they going to report something that happened if they don't know how to pronounce the past tense? And we have 3 different phonemes that we use for that, right? And so that would be tried. You might have to do some form work with them. But the main thing would be the context, right? And then how about 10 sentences with blanks for putting in the correct past tense verb? Could you use that? Yeah, but, sure, but what would the 10 sentences be about? Could be sentences related to this event, or maybe another event that's similar to it, and now they have to, we did this one together, most of the time we want to model what we're doing, right? The teacher will model it. So, okay, here's the crime, here's how we talk about what happened and so forth. And okay, now we're going to do another one. And this time it's, now you do it, right? And they're going to do the same thing. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's move on. All right, so let's try this activity. We've got some time to do this. Here's a game called 20 Questions. Maybe you've done this in class. The teacher thinks of something and simply tells learners whether it is animal, vegetable, mineral, or abstract. Okay? The learners can then put 20 questions to the teacher. They ask the teacher questions to discover what he or she is thinking. What's we're thinking of, not thinking, but thinking of, the thing. The teacher can limit the choices to everyday objects. You can say, well, I'm thinking of a pet, or something like that, right? You can limit the vocabulary parameters if you want. And usually the way when we do this, we're doing yes/no questions only. Sometimes we play it. You can only ask yes or no questions, right? And then, so they have 20 questions. If they can guess what you have in your mind, what you're thinking of in fewer than 20 questions, they get a point, right? Okay? So how about this? Just discuss with a partner now, maybe for a couple of minutes. How does this activity address the three components of Larson-Freeman's framework? We can go back to that. The form, the circle thing. Just go back to that one. Yeah. Go one more. Keep going. Back. There you go. So my question, everybody understand the 20 questions game? Have you played that? Yeah. Okay. So, we could play it. So how does a game like that, think about how that's played. The students are asking the teacher questions about something that the teacher is thinking of. How does that game address these three areas, okay? Just talk about it. Just a couple minutes. Talk it over.